everybody, Old Guy Jammin' here. We're going to work on the Ignator Tweaker 15 loop. Not that it's a bad loop, it just doesn't work as well with analog pedals. And was reluctant to hand out the info on the mod because he thought it might lead people to think that the effects loop was broken or that it wasn't good. It works fine with digital pedals. A lot of people probably don't even know there's an issue with it. I don't know. I love the tweaker, but there's effects loop issues from time to time. With the Rebel, it was some gain resistors around the op amp that you needed to switch, so it brought the noise level down to zilch. Super cool mod and easy enough to do. In this one, we're going to just play with 2 resistors as well, and we're going to reduce the input to the effects loop and increase the output from the effects loop, so that you can use your analog pedals or non-bypass pedals in the loop and not have any signal loss. All right, so I'm going to put the mic back down here by the speaker, and I'm going to run a track through the looper, and you'll see when it's through the looper, we're going to lose a little bit of the top end. It just gets a little muddy. And then next, I'm just going to run some phrasing through the amp, and I'll kick the analog delay on, which I have a Joyo analog delay, which I really like. It's super soft and it's just a nice delay, but it does cause some issues with this loop, and you'll hear the difference. I'll point you down at my feet, no disrespect to anybody, none intended anyway. All right, so through the loop. I was just working on some Van Halen for fun this morning. Cameron Cooper found some THR settings, which yielded up a really cool brown tone. So I was playing with my Van Halen this morning. Super fun. Anyway, so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to take care of this mod. Be back. All right, to start this project, you take the screen off the back. It's 4 little screws. Put it to the... Oh, jeez. All right, to start this project, take the screen off the back. It's 4 little screws. Set that over here to the side. And then we got 4 screws on the bottom. Take all 4 of those out. Have the cab on its end on a towel so you can turn it without scuffing anything up. And then you're just going to pull the chassis out. Have some of our foam blocks ready to go to make a nice supportive base that you can work by configuring these. You can work around anything sitting on your tubes. In the past, I haven't done that, and I have broken tubes with because the weight of the amp was sitting on one that I didn't notice or whatever, but have broken those. So saving up some of these storage blocks makes a lot of sense because you can build a custom base for whatever head you're working on. All right, we'll pull this out and take a look. All right, we're back. So the great thing about Ignator is their customer service is top notch. I was able to email Blad and got these schematics based on some stuff I pulled off a blog about Tweaker 15 effects loop mod. There was a hand-drawn schematic on the mod with some resistor values. Anyway, in the blog there was some confusion about, or discussion about, the correct values. Some people thought the values were incorrect. So I emailed Ignator, and they emailed me this. This schematic includes a toggle switch that allows you to go back and forth between the stock setup circuit and the modified circuit. But from what I've read on the blogs, people who have done this have loved what it does to the effects loop. They don't ever feel the need to switch back to the way it was. They like the improvement and they leave it there. So why put a switch in if you don't need to? So this is the schematic for that. It's 8.2K across R4, and then you pull up the legs of C7 and R13, solder them together, and you're going to put a 10 meg resistor in series with those two, and then the B point is the other side of R13. That's not real clear, but I've verified that that's where you put the other end of this 10 meg, is right down on the other side of R13. You pulled that leg out to solder it together with C7. You put a 10 meg in there, and you're good to go. Now, the location of this is right up in here. So they're 1/8 watt resistors. Let me see if we can focus on that. Pretty small. You'll see there's R13 right there in the middle, and C7. So I'm going to pull those two legs up, and then the 10 meg will go in series and right back on the other side of R13 by that cap. And then R4 that we need to put a resistor across is right down here at the bottom, right there. Another 1/8 watt resistor, and I'll put the 8.2K across that, effectively cutting that resistance, because resistors in parallel reduce the resistance, resistors in series increase the resistance. The opposite is true for capacitors. Now, while we're here, we'll take a look around. I still think that Ignators are some of the nicest looking amps around. Really quality inside, large size components. You won't see a lot of chips. In fact, I don't recall ever seeing a chip in any of them. Discrete components, which means you'll be able to often repair. If something blows up, a cap or a resistor, you will know that it's toast and very likely be able to repair it. Just always a really nice job. The wire looms. You know, a lot of people skimp on the number of zip ties. They'll have half as many in, which gives it a much looser appearance. It's not as neat. I'm always impressed with Ignator circuit boards. They're nice and thick, military grade. The Rebel circuit boards are reddish and super nice. The tweakers are just as nice. Everything's laid out well. So very nice, easy to work on. For this mod though, because it's so small and it's down in here, I'm going to pull this backboard up, which is easy. It's just those two nuts, a couple screws, two more nuts, and a couple of screws, and that whole board will pull back and then lift right out. And I'll make this job a whole lot. Back real quick, you do have to take a few more screws out than I said just a little while ago. You gotta take all these retainers out, super easy. Take the fuse holder out, that'll make the clearance there better. Take these two tubes out, and then these power tube sockets are mounted to the chassis, so you have to take those two screws out. And chassis mounted sockets are considered an upgrade, so that's real nice. But still, and then there's 3 screws into the circuit board underneath along the far edge that are screwed into standoffs just to help secure the board. Okay, So it's still really easy. I'm just into this a couple minutes. But because so few people listen to or watch till the end of the video, I want to go ahead and highlight Mouser Electronics. You can get resistors and caps from StewMac in all parts, of course. But StewMac will charge you $3.50 for a 10-cent resistor. And then shipping on top of that, which still seems kind of affordable, but it bothers me because I know that from like places like Digitech, DigiKey, actually, and Fry's when they used to be open, other places, Radio Shack when I was a kid, you could just walk into Radio Shack and buy resistors for, 6 in a bag for 95 cents. Anyway, Mouser, great service, great selection, and you're paying 10 cents a resistor, much closer to market value or market price rather than the inflated StewMac price. So check out Mouser. Great website, easy to use, all sorts of good stuff. And again, for this mod, you want to use 1/8 watt resistors. I went 1/4 watt because I didn't know any better, but 1/8 watt will be a lot easier to work with. Okay, we'll get this out and get to it. I'm about to be a heckin' success. So we can't really get the board out. I mean, you could, but you're gonna cut a lot of those pretty zip ties, and you don't really need to stuff the towel into this end. It comes up easy enough, close enough to where you can get in and work on these pretty comfortably. I did disconnect this connector and this connector, that connector, and that connector. But they're also, it's very clear where they go. So there's no problem. You won't even have to label. It's pretty obvious where they go because only one will go this far, the other one only goes that far, that one only goes that far, and that one only goes that far. Anyway, here is the 8.2 across the R4. Just bent it and did a little resolder. And then over here, I used a kitchen knife point to get under the legs there of R13 and C7. I held on to C7 while I bent that leg up so as not to crack the coating, and then I soldered those two ends together. If you don't have a pair of these self-closing tweezers, you need a pair. They keep tension on the part without you having to. And then I'm just going to stick this guy in kind of at an angle to catch that leg, and that's the other side of R13 right there, and I won't need any heat shrink or anything like that, and then it's just buttoning back up. Coolio. Whoopity-doopity. Whoopity-hoopty-woo. Alright, so, hey, that wasn't so bad. It's only about noon. I think I was out there an hour. And all that muddiness, all that fuzziness is gone. It didn't do anything freaky to the levels or anything. I don't have any more noise. There is a little bit of noise because I'm playing P90s, but you'd expect that. It wasn't any more than when I started. The effects, or the ditto, is always for me, it's at 3 o'clock. That's unity gain for me, and I didn't touch that. It's nice. It's the same level as the guitar, and it's bright, and it's a genuine replica of the phrase I was laying down. And then the analog delay, when you switch that on, which I really like because it's soft. It's just different than some of the other delays. It has something about the decay too. As it decays, there's a neat thing that happens. But switching that on and off, and there's no loss of signal like I was experiencing before. I think this is big enough you'll be able to hear it in over YouTube. So much is lost in YouTube, but this is a pretty darn big change. Very happy. So 2 resistors and a little bit of nicky wicky woo, and you've got, well, it solved the problem of something I didn't like. So super easy with a little finesse and tweaky, you're good to go. That's just awesome. I love it when stuff works out. I love it when a plan comes together. All right, so there'll be about 35 of you probably that are even interested in doing a Tweaker 15 effects loop mod, but that's why we're here. Old Guy Jammin' is out. Be kind to each other. Pray for the world. We'll see you next time.